You find yourself venturing into a world that is unfamiliar to you in every single way. All you have to your name is your wits and a broken phone that has no internet. But wait, you have the MidFall Podcast in your hands. Here you can listen to the tales of your three hosts, Luis, Josh, and Jared, as they venture through their own creative woes and whatnot. Get ready to be entertained through your wildest dreams as you conquer and face this new threatening world. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the MidFall Podcast. I am Jared, Mr. J-Rod, and we have our two lovely hosts here as well, Mr. Lewy.
Gerude Sandstorm.
And Mr. Yosh.
Hello, Mr. Pumpkin.
Hello. So, customary to our episodes, we have a couple of announcements. The first announcement by today is November 19th. The Spotify and YouTube are now synchronized for the MidFall Podcast. So now we will be uploading them every Tuesday, both on Spotify and YouTube as well. So make sure to keep up with that. Secondly, we got some merch. Yes, we finally got some merch. So we got, yep. Actually, you know what? Mr. Louie, could you please explain to our lovely people about the new merchandise that we have available to them?
Well, basically, I made a couple designs, and we tested out finally. We're just waiting on some hoodies, and we like what we got, so now it's time to go ahead and put it out there for everybody. And that's a way to go ahead and also support us. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and add the Cursed Realm Crypt website. That's www.cursedrealmcrypt to the link tree. But besides that, yeah, we got merch, we got shirts, we got hoodies, we got stuff available at all price ranges. So we got our just very basic MidFall shirts. They're all printed on what is kind of my style right now. So, and it's kind of fashionable right now as well. Is our oversized shirts, our oversized heavyweight shirts, and then our oversized heavyweight hoodies. The shirts will be $25. The hoodies will be $35, and the premium oversized hoodies will be $50. We do have one specific collab on there that I just have to mention, which is the Cursed Realm Crypt / Black MidFall collab. That is a hoodie that you will see pictures of Gerude Sandstorm on there modeling it, as well as me. But yeah, just you will see modeling pictures, and you will be able to see that nice lovely hoodie and how nice and lovely we all look on it, and how nice and lovely you could look and feel in it as well. Besides that, not much else. We're just gonna have like I said, product. Yeah.
Absolutely. This man has been the designer for all merchandise that we have available to you all. He's been consulting us a little bit about basic stuff about, the merch, what looks good, what doesn't, whatnot. We have a couple of samples of them, and I have to say, the quality superb. So much thanks to Mr. Lewy for getting that all set up as well.
Appreciate it.
Also, we have a new video that came out on the No Respawn channel. We got the second episode of Sparking Zero, led by Mr. Yosh. Oh, could you please tell the viewers what they should expect from this new episode?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna spoil the story too much. I think by now a lot of people who have played Sparking Zero know the story a bit. But I was doing the what if, and Jared had said in a previous episode, like, Josh, that what if you're doing is crazy. And so I got to that part where it got crazy, I think, within that episode. So episode 2 is where a lot of shit hits the fan in a good way. And it's really cool and really fun. I really enjoyed that video, especially recording it. One thing I do plan to do with some No Respawn videos, and we'll do them with other people's videos, like Jared's video that's coming out very soon, and future videos that I put out and Luis puts out on No Respawn, is we're gonna try to make some shorts for damn near every video that we can get a short from. Or TikTok, I guess, is another better word to say, because people understand that now. We're gonna try to get a TikTok out for a lot of these videos, because we really want the videos to be easily transferable to other platforms and you guys to see them anywhere and everywhere. Just so you guys know, like, we're still uploading. We have a schedule in mind. I'm not sure if we want to reveal it yet, so I'll leave that to you guys to say it for uploading on No Respawn. I will be trying to upload on Fridays though, just so you guys know. And yeah, the new episode is really interesting. The other videos are ready. I just have to make the shorts for them, or the TikToks for them. And yeah, we're gonna start advertising a TikTok or two every so often and try to get those out for you guys to see, and hopefully we get some new viewers from that. So if you're a new viewer and you're on the podcast, what's up?
Absolutely. Much thanks to Mr. Yosh for having that all set up as well and being our leading figure within the No Respawn channel. Much obliged to the mans. Much obliged. So, with all that being said, time to get into the episode today. So, this one's going to take a little bit of a detour from the usual podcast episode questionings that we have here on the MidFall channel. Instead, we're actually going to do something more akin to an interview, actually. So, you may know us as MidFall, the brand MidFall, but we want you to get to know us. We want you to get to know our energy, our vibes, what we want, what we think about, what we want to show you guys. And I'm gonna be the interviewer, while they are the interviewees, since this is basically their child. So,
Our child, Jared. This is your child too. We are co-parenting.
Co-parenting, exactly.
I'm the step parent here, but I love it all the same.
Stepped up.
But let us get into the questions here that I want both of y'all to answer. So, let's start off with basic introductions. How did you two meet? Like, what was the origin of this friendship here? What was the origin?
Your loose members are better than I do, to be honest.
I really don't. For you and me, I actually really don't. Just remember, to be honest, I just remember being just like with Jared, like, we just became friends. Like, we just became friends. But go ahead. I remember that you told the story before, actually, back when that whole trend on YouTube was big with you flipping through your storybooks. Do you remember? Draw my life, dude. We drew our life. And you did tell this story, brother. Go ahead.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, dude.
I do remember, I think we met in the first grade.
Nah, dude, kindergarten,
yeah. So we met in kindergarten. Were we in the same class or no? I don't remember.
I believe we were. in the same class in kindergarten. Maybe we were in an opposing class, but we were just again, we went to the same elementary school, but mainly just in recess, I believe we just became closer. But where I remember you mainly like becoming closer to you for sure was actually closer to maybe fourth grade, because that was the first time you came over to my house. I believe I had come
Yeah.
over prior to your house, maybe before. That was the first time you had come over to mine. After that, Josh and I just started hanging out because uh, we had another friend, and we just started all hanging out together. And our other friend also was in the freaking picture, Ervinth. Shout outs to Canada. We'd go over to his house a lot, and we were all just, the route was basically, our other friend and I would get together. We would go pick up Josh at his house, and I believe I've mentioned this part before, but we would go ahead and pick up Josh at his house, and then we'd go meet up at Airman's. So we would all just hang out, or it would be over at my place that we would hang out if it wasn't for Irvin's or Josh's. But yeah.
Just so
yeah.
people know, Luis was the type of friend where he knew to come over, whose house to come over to, and then recruit one person to go out, and then go to the next person's house and be like, hey, I already got someone. We're already outside. Come on, we've been waiting. And so then the next person would have to come outside. And so then everyone started going outside because Luis would orchestrate people coming together to hang out. Because otherwise, no one really would have hung out if Luis didn't, convince people to come out. Because a lot of us were, not that we were sheltered, we liked to stay inside. And then we went outside and, biked around our city or skated or scootered around our city because Luis orchestrated the hangouts and stuff. And it was we got cell phones at some point, but we were young enough at some point to not really use the cell phones much, except for calling and be like, hey, I'm on my way over. It's oh, okay. It's like that. It wasn't hey, are you free? It's no, I'm on my way over. And then we hang out.
Yeah, type stuff. Yeah, exactly.
So the mastermind of the hangouts.
So basically, we hung out all throughout middle school, high school, until Josh, unfortunately, but fortunately for him, because the story turned out, for a happy ending, just moved states. And then our friendship stayed strong, and, strong enough to have a podcast every week, and, see each other multiple times a year for the most part. So, yeah, at least once or twice.
So for those of you out there, if you have a friend and one of you moved and you haven't communicated with that friend, you got to hit that friend up. This is your sign now.
This is your sign. It works out.
Go check up on the homies.
Yep.
Exactly.
And you might be like, oh, it's not a sign. You're just saying that. No, this is the sign. This is the sign of me calling you out again because you're thinking that. Stop thinking that.
Exactly.
Hit that friend up. Unless they did something unspeakable to you. Unless they killed your gerbil. Don't hit them up. But hit them up.
It's funny. Yeah, exactly.
True. So
That is the idea.
then I must ask, since this friendship has been going on for so long, when was the point you would say that you had ideas to make something like this, something akin to MidFall? Was it always the original idea, or were there different iterations that y'all were thinking of? What was the mindset of that?
So, okay, for MidFall, let me start back to the very, 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 very beginning, right? And
Please.
I guess that to Josh, MidFall might have been the way that I explained it. There was a different catalyst, but this is essentially what MidFall is, right? So, we were born in 1999, and YouTube and all that kind of stuff started becoming popular when we were around fourth grade or so maybe around 8 years old. So 2008, 2007, that's when it really started catching a lot of traction. So I feel like we were kind of the first generation to really want to try to pursue being YouTubers, and saw it and just being like, ah, dang, like let's do it. So ever since I could remember, like Josh and I always tried doing YouTube skits just for the intention of like, let's go ahead and publish it, right? And much like people do TikTok now, so we just always tried making skits, videos, tried making them either like high production, like the production value varied, but we always tried doing it. And then it wasn't until maybe 2018, 2019 to where I always liked to skate, and I always liked to ride my scooter mainly. And so I saw a potential of like, oh, this is kind of my vehicle of, producing clothing, and also just kind of getting a message out there. Because I felt like at the skate park and stuff like that, I felt like, because little kids would come up to me and ask me for like advice on tricks and stuff like that. I was like, oh dang, like I'm also like an influence to them. So not that it has like complete like, oh dang, like I'm a freaking superhero at all, right? But I am like, oh, I can influence people, and this and that. So let me go ahead and wear clothing that I want to wear. Also, too, was kind of a thing, because I started getting more into fashion and clothing, which unfortunately I kind of lost more towards my like 20s. But definitely I was a lot more into clothing and stuff back then. So what I was gonna say was, in 2018, I wanted to start MidFall as kind of like a scooter apparel brand type of situation, because again, I wanted this to be like my vehicle of my expression. Like, there's no purpose for me to express myself in this way if I don't have a purpose for it, is kind of what I always thought. So I was like, okay, I want to go ahead and influence these younger kids this way, because this is where I'm seeing this like younger generation. So, and was also that younger generation, because to be honest, MidFall really started, like that whole kind of idea came about maybe like when I was still just like 17, 18. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Want to go ahead and just spread motivation towards people, and Josh was on board with that stuff, because I had also influenced him, as my friend, to go ahead and also start riding a scooter and go outside more and stuff like that. And through just my friends like telling me that too, that like, oh hey, like it's cool that you got me outside, like that's what I wanted. That's kind of the message that I wanted to relay, just to go outside and chill with your friends, and yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think for me, MidFall, like Luis mentioned this briefly, we always made videos growing up. We always were creative growing up, even though it was like not the best quality because we were kids recording videos. But MidFall was always a thing in our minds. It just wasn't like, I guess we weren't old enough to really like think about it as a company until like, Luis was getting older. He was like, oh yeah, I want to do this, like my scooter clothing brand and such. For me, Luis and I had spoken extensively about like creative media and stuff like that ever since we were kids. Like we'd always wanted to make a YouTube channel together. Never was really able to do it because we just never like bit the bullet and just did it. That's pretty much what it was. We never just did it. Like we had made videos as kids, but we lost that like lack of fear, I guess, mainly from my part, as we got older. Yeah. And so like eventually I did start making YouTube videos, and I saw how like, not difficult, but how like it requires effort and stuff, and it's effort that I was willing to do, and it's effort that I know Luis and Jared have because we've been doing it. But with MidFall, like Luis said, it is, back to like, I digress a bit, but with MidFall, it is what Luis said, where like a lot of it is people coming together, and the message has turned into one where we're influencing each other in a sense to, not let ourselves feel lonely, and to really relate with one another, meet each other in the middle. Like, we're all friends, we all have debates, arguments, all that jazz, but at the end of the day, we know the vision for MidFall as a brand, and just as people, we know what we want MidFall to be, and we agree a lot on what we want MidFall to be. So it has changed over time, but the basic premise of it has always been consistent ever since we were really young, and ever since Luis shared it with me for the first time, and I really meshed with it. Like, I really I jived with what he said, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get you. So in some ways it's kind of poetic that even though it is more, even though it was started off more as a brand focus, it kind of got back to those roots of making videos, not only for a podcast, but also for gaming content as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think something people could see in the future, and I briefly said this earlier to you guys, this I don't think you'll be surprised about me saying this, but I really want MidFall to grow and be what we envision it to be, like not just clothing, but a multimedia brand. And I really want us to like really have a creative outlet with it. And I really want us to be able to make whatever. Like right now, there's music being involved, which is amazing. I think it's beautiful that we're, getting out of our comfort zone, doing things in either a short amount of time or doing it in a way that we've never done before. But then also telling stories, and that's something that I'm really interested in. And I really want MidFall to be the way that we envision it, because I want to tell stories. I want MidFall to be that creative outlet, at least for me. I know you guys want that too, but for me, I want that creative outlet of, I could release a short film or something like that on the MidFall channel, and I would feel perfectly happy with it being on the MidFall channel.
Hell yeah, brother. We released the whole fucking album in a month. But, yeah, no, I mean, definitely. Yeah, so this time around, because we always tried, but I guess hopefully we're not alone, and also because we're saying this, hopefully this makes other people not feel alone either. We always discuss the idea, but we never just go along with it. We always discuss, we then give it some effort, but then we realize that it takes effort and consistency. But look at this, like we meet up again every Tuesday, 12 noon, get some work done, and then it happens, and then we assign homework to each other, and we for the most part get it done. So yeah. And if we don't, we communicate it to each other, and then it's all good. Work gets done regardless. So
Exactly.
yeah, let's one, keep it up, and then two, just be grateful for that, knowing that journey. And then this time around, Josh came back to me and was like, oh hey, like I came back with an idea, and I want to go ahead and make try and make a brand around it. And I was like, or he said, or let's go ahead and make it like a MidFall concept. And I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. So this whole time we were actually trying to get this project executed, which I think we already mentioned. Training arc. I didn't want to mention it this time, but whatever. I'm pretty sure we already mentioned it before. But training arc will be good, a lot better. We're just gonna keep having the basic stuff out right now, and we're gonna keep working on training arc to where it's exactly to where we want it, because we've been testing out a lot of other samples as well, and we're happy with what we have. So at least so far, to go ahead and drop these samples or these products. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and open up Curse from Crypt and have these products out, and then keep working on perfecting the training arc drop.
Yeah,
This
I
is
think
our training arc.
Exactly. I think something that we're learning with Training Arc, and eventually you won't hear about Training Arc as much, especially after we release it and stuff, we drop it. But right now we're focusing on these basic clothing lines because we want to get the experience, but also we don't want to mess things up by rushing things. Like everything we do, and Luis, Jared, and I have spoken about this. I don't know if we really revealed it on the podcast, but everything we do when it comes to these serious drops like Training Arc and future ones that we haven't really named, we want to tell a story with them, and we want them to have meaning, and we don't want to dilute the meaning just to get it out. So we want to be like very, not methodical, but like very like
we want to tread lightly. We want
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we want to have meaning behind it.
We want to tread lightly and make sure we do well.
Yeah.
Effort, elbow grease, like that's what we want to put into it. Like, so yeah.
Yep.
Authenticity.
Exactly, authenticity with it, because with it comes those of you listening and those of you interested in it, whether it be in the future or the past. We want you guys to know that even from day one, we didn't just see MidFall as a quick buck or like, oh yeah, let's just release clothing. Like, no, we're going to do this the right way. We're going to get this clothing out so those of you can see like this is the vision, this is the design that we want, that we have. Either way, it's going to turn out well. Just trust in the process.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Well, eloquently put. Actually, and that's the perfect segue to my next question for y'all. Because I guess just for the viewers right now, and also future ones that will probably see this later, what are the ideals of MidFall itself? Like, what do you want people to, when they come to see our videos, to check out the merchandise, to just listen to the podcast, what ideals do you guys want them to perceive from us?
Well, I'd say that one, again, the consistency, that we are doing what we want to go ahead and do, and then hopefully this inspires other people to go ahead and also do something with their friends that they enjoy. Hopefully we are also, you know what, too, you kind of are what you consume type of stuff. So I would prefer to not be I prefer to hopefully have substance with our conversations, especially now with our new layout of hosts and stuff like that. So hopefully our podcasts do get better as time goes on, and hopefully they have been getting consistently better as time's been going on. So I'm just trying to add better content out there, hopefully, because even though it's where it's at right now, it will get better with time.
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing I really like about MidFall and what I want people to see is the evolution of us. Like Luis put this perfectly with, the quality is getting better and will get better over time. And that's just something that we've been holding ourselves to that standard. We don't reach out and be like, oh, we have to be the perfect podcast. Like, we know we're not perfect. We know we're not quote unquote professionals, but we know that we're going to get to that level, and we're going to get to a level that we're going to look back on it and be really proud of ourselves. And it boils down to going through with your ideas and your dreams. And, if you see a podcast and you want to make a podcast, just make a podcast. Like, who cares what people say? Like, if someone wants to judge you and be like, oh, yeah, of course you made a podcast. Like, so I made a podcast and you didn't. So just do what you feel is right for you and just enjoy life. Don't let, the fear of the unknown get in the way of you creating something that could be the greatest thing ever in your life. And that's something that Luis and I suffered from a bit in the past, where we'd let the fear of failure and the unknown really deter us from doing this. And that's why I really want to give a shout out to Jared and Luis, because Jared coming into MidFall, that's why I didn't want Jared to be like, oh yeah, it's just your child. Like, no, Jared, like, this is your child too. Like, MidFall has your middle name. But you basically, you're doing a lot more than you may assume, Jared, because you're helping out so much in the background, in the forefront, with content. Like, I never had to ask Jared, hey, could you put out some videos on No Respawn? Jared just made a video. He just decided, I'm going to make a No Respawn video. And that's the energy that Luis and I, not that we were lacking, but in the past we were lacking that. And so now we have that energy, and Jared's helping us keep ourselves accountable with that energy, like by practicing what we've been preaching. And so I really enjoy that, and that's why I like working with Jared. And that's why I like working with Luis, because Luis has this energy, and I said this earlier, energy is such a weird word to say, but he has this energy where he can bring people together, and that's what you need in someone who, quote unquote, like just a leader. Like, you need that in a leader, someone who's gonna like get everyone to talk and communicate between parties, and, you know, have the tough conversations, even if it like hurts, or even if it like ends with like, okay, I disagree with you, but let's do this, or I agree with you, let's think about this. Luis has that capability, and that's what MidFall needs, and that's what you all need in your life. Like, everyone needs to be able to hold themselves accountable and to be able to talk with people and communicate. A lot of people suffer with communication, and I think one thing that I think is going to help us in the long run is how willing we are to communicate with our concerns and fears, and just tackling it as a team. That's what I really like about MidFall, is that the message isn't that you're alone. The message is that with other people, you can do a lot of things together.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. Because that's also what the message that I was trying to, I guess, say, which is, I mean, you're also like watching us grow as well. So hopefully this is just you identify with anything that we say, any of our stories, and are just like, oh. And maybe if you've had any thoughts of starting your own thing too, just going ahead and just doing it. Because again, we have been trying to do this for a while, since 2019, and we're just now promoting that we have a website and apparel in 2024. In November, damn near the end. So, I mean, it's fine. You know, like, it's hopefully not too late. But, you know, we'll find that out and get back to you guys. But, yeah, this is the very beginning. But, you know, we finally got frustrated enough to go ahead and just start. So, that's what's important. Just getting started.
Nice.
Exactly.
Then I do have to ask, how big do you guys see MidFall becoming? Like, let's say in the next 10 years or so. Bro. Where do you think MidFall will be in society?
So 10 years, right? All right, I'm going to go first because this is something I'm very passionate about.
Please.
I definitely see MidFall, if we can keep the energy we've been having and the ideas flowing, and, you know, being critical of ourselves and being like, okay, this didn't do well, let's you know, push it forward more. Like, let's, you know, do this better, let's look at what other people are doing wrong or right. I think MidFall can be to the level where maybe we're not living in the same state still, but we can travel to see each other. Luis and I have spoken about this. Traveling to see each other, recording content in bulk, like going on trips, like, for example, like maybe to a cabin or something, and having friends with us, and recording videos as a group for like No Respawn IRL videos, or traveling and recording vlogs and stuff. Like, I want MidFall to be not limited by the name, but limited by how creative we can be. And so I could like say, oh yeah, this is how many views we're gonna have per video. Nah, like, you can never anticipate that. I just anticipate us being able to be creative in a free way, like freedom to be creative and how creative we want.
Yes, sir. Exactly. That. All that.
Honestly, I love what you just said right there about the views and whatnot, not being able to really predict that kind of stuff. Honestly, yeah. That's all I can really say to that. Is just, yeah. So then, what's next? What's next for MidFall? Like, not even just for the here and now. Like, what would you want to, like, specifically do in the future?
What's next? Probably just bigger music. Bigger music. Hopefully meeting people in a different space in that regard, in that way. You know, see what comes of that. Because right now, music has always been fun. Okay, it's always been fun. So going ahead and just taking it, I guess, not necessarily further, but just keep on going. And then let me see if we can, if we can get like higher production, like videos, you know, potentially like just being able to get together consistently to do higher production stuff or whatever that might be. But yeah, I'd say stuff like that. Just way better apparel, way better social media presence, and seeing MidFall hopefully associated with just persistence, consistency. I hate to say it like this, but like friendship, I guess. But like, you know, just like, you know, loyalty and like all that kind of stuff. Like that kind of brand, and hopefully it just stays that way until the end of time. But yeah.
No, I agree with Luis completely. He mentioned like music and stuff, and I think before we recorded the podcast, I mentioned like wanting to make short films. I think that would be so much fun for us to be able to both make short films in the future on the MidFall channel, like posting it on our major channel for the brand, but also I know we've spoken about this, but music videos are something that I could see us all enjoying, either the production process, the editing process, the creation of the music itself. I think the whole process we have is beautiful so far, but the elevation of what we're doing to do more and do what we envision is really what I want. Like, I really want us to make music videos for, like, if there's some songs on the Black MidFall that came out that I listened to them and I'm like, bro, this song is actually really fucking good. Like, why didn't we think of, like I know we're not necessarily in a rush, but we were in a rush in a sense to get it out. I'm like, damn, I really wish we could have, like, I could have been there and helped them make a music video for this song, because this song, I'm fucking with it. I'm really vibing with it. And so I really want MidFall to just keep elevating. That's, to put it simple. I want us to keep elevating and holding ourselves to a standard that is reachable but not impossible, because we've done that before where we set impossible standards, and that's what stopped us from doing things. And it goes back to that fear. And so I really want to see MidFall be that brainchild, that brain trust that we have, where we're trusting in each other to keep our end of the bargain, quote unquote, but also we're not like penalizing each other. Like, I've literally texted in our group chat like probably 4 times already, hey guys, I wasn't able to get a video out, my bad, I'll get a video out soon. And they have never once been like, what the fuck, Josh, why aren't you getting a video out? Mind my French. Every single time I've been supported by Luis and Jared, and it's made me want to get a video out even more because they've supported me. And so that's the energy we're going to keep going, and I think that energy boils down to the friendship thing, is going to keep us like going. It's going to keep this alive, and it's going to keep the flame going even harder and stronger. What do you think though, Jared?
Yeah, what do you think though, Jared?
Asking the interviewer.
Yeah.
Shout out Nardwar. Beautiful man. In terms of next steps for MidFall, yeah. I mean, continuing to make what we're making right now, like you said, Luis, making music videos, short films, like you were saying, Josh, would be so much fun. I was actually thinking about getting Final Cut Pro so I could make some better editing for us, because I'm the one who edits the podcast, but I also edit some other videos as well. And honestly, that it would be a big help, I know, to the whole brand of MidFall to make more grandiose videos so that our people can enjoy them. In terms of, just like, one thing that I do enjoy about being here on MidFall, since you guys let me join ever since the first episode of season 2, it's been the patience. I think it's been the patience between like all three of us. Like you were saying, Josh, how you would message like, hey, wasn't able to get a video out, and we'd be okay with it. I love that we all have that combined patience to really understand that each of us are not only like a part of this brand, but we also have other things to do as well in our own personal lives. And we're able to, not only just pick up the pieces where someone left off, but also just being like, hey, it's okay. It happens. Things happen. Like, man, don't get me started about all the podcasts I wasn't able to complete, but you guys gave me patience, and I was able to just knock those babies out and get that all set up and updated. So,
bro, you knock babies out? What the fuck?
Hey, man, they were just in the way, baby.
Thankfully, they're all out now.
Yeah, the mother said thank you. We needed that.
No babies were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Where were they?
So,
oh god.
Dun, dun, dun. So I guess this leads to my last question of this episode. If your past selves, the selves that were watching all those Draw My Lives and making those YouTube skits back in the day, what do you think their reaction would be to everything that you've got, that we've all been making, I should say?
I think it'd be I think they'd be happy. I think that they would be happy, like, for real, because I think that, like, there's always been, I think that I'm a creative person. I'm not saying that I'm any more creative than anybody else, but I'm also do like to spend my time creating. It's like one of my hobbies. So anytime that I feel like I can't get a creative thought out, it bugs me, and it bugs me a lot. So I've always wanted to go ahead and pursue something like this, and it's always bugged me that I've never gone ahead and found like that, like seemingly like purpose for it. So now to be doing it just feels so nice and fulfilling. So yeah, I think I'd be very, very, my previous self would be very, very happy.
And you, Mr. Yosh?
Yeah, I think my young self would honestly be super ecstatic with what we're doing, just purely off MidFall itself, because it's something that we've wanted to do since we were kids, essentially. And to see how much we've done so far this year, I'm not complacent. Like, I'm not sitting here like, oh yeah, we've done enough, we've done a good job. It's like, no, we have a vision. Like, telling a story is what we want to do, and we have different forms of media that we want to tell our stories through, whether it be through Instagram Reels, TikToks, short films, music videos, just music in general. and we haven't reached the point where we can do all those things at the same time and gotten a team going. Like, this is what I failed to mention in one of the previous questions. Like, we want to have a team of people that we know and trust to help us keep growing MidFall, and that's the goal with MidFall, to just, this sounds weird, but keep it in the family. Yeah, like that's the goal with MidFall, like keep it in the family, you know. But that's not going to be on a shirt, thank God. But anyways, with MidFall, my younger self would be so happy, but my younger self was also critical of himself at a young age, and I think I would question, like, so, you know, like, where are you going next? Like, what's next? Like, is this what you guys are doing? Is this it? Like, is that all you're gonna do? And I think I wouldn't be happy with just being complacent about where we are right now. Like, I love making the podcast with you guys, and I love that we can make videos all together. But I do know that all three of us have a vision. And even though my younger self may not understand it as much, my younger self would understand, like, wait a minute, you're not making those short films that we used to make, you and Luis, like, as kids. Like the Star Wars video or something like that we made as kids.
That one was in 2008 or 2009 or 2010. So we've been doing this for a little while. At least trying for a little while.
A little bit over half our lives, you know, almost there.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think younger me would be so happy, but older me is not happy with being complacent. I don't want to, like, show that to my younger self and be like, yeah, this is what we did, ha ha ha, and then go to work. It's like, no. Like, we've only completed like 1% of the vision, to be perfectly honest. We're 1% in. So we have a lot to work on, but we all look forward to it.
Heck yeah.
Beautiful.
What about you, Jared?
Yeah, what about you?
My youngest. I think my younger self, if we were seeing all this, would just be, I guess, astounded. As a little kid, not to get too, like, mopey or anything like that, never really had a vision for myself and what I really wanted to do, what I really wanted to make. And so being able to see something that is tangible, that's real, that's out there, that you can just see whenever you want, and then go back to it again and again and again and again. I think he would see some level of beauty in that. He'd see some level of just, you know, enjoyment of having something to his name. And yeah, I think he'd be happy with that.
Yes, sir. I get what you mean. Yeah, me too. Because I think I said it last time. You know, we talked about it last time. Direction was like a big thing. Now we finally feel like there's some sort of direction on this. So that's very fulfilling, and that's nice. So yeah, hopefully everybody likes what we've been putting on so far.
100.
A lot more to come.
A lot more. We're just beginning. This is only the first steps of MidFall. If anything, this is a time capsule. We're gonna look at this many years later and be like, we did it. We got it. It's all here. And we're just gonna keep going. Non-stop. MidFall, 100 years.
Exactly.
Dude, think about this. Next year we're gonna hit 50 like podcast episodes plus, and the year after we're gonna hit 100 plus podcast episodes, because we're not gonna stop. Like,
no, this is too fun.
Insane.
It's too fun.
Yeah.
Like, too much
it's
fun.
gonna be interesting to see how much we grow.
Yeah. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of all the questions that I have here for today's episode. So, if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Make sure to follow Mr. Josh at Yosh Network on Instagram. me on Black Pumpkin Boyo on Instagram, and Mr. Lewy on MidFall Company and MidFall 99 on Instagram. Also, make sure to check out our YouTube channels as well. Like we said, No Respawn's gonna get a lot of content, and we're really excited to show y'all all the new shows and whatnots we got in store. So, you guys want to say anything before we close out?
Yeah. We made a link tree like weeks and weeks ago, and we shouted it out multiple times. But if you guys are ever on our like social medias and you don't know where to find other social medias, it's linktree/midfall. Just so you guys know, I think it's midfall, right? Yeah, linktree/midfall. And yeah, just make sure you guys check that out to find everything else. It should be super easy for you guys. Just wanted to make sure everyone knew. The link tree is always going to be updated. And if you're ever lost on where to find things, the link tree is always your answer.
And again, MidFall, curserealmcrypt.com. Okay? www.curserealmcrypt.com. That is the MidFall store. That is where you will find anything MidFall related, anything No Respawn related, anything Curse Realm Crypt related. That's where you'll find it.
Yep. I'll make sure to put that one in the link tree as well, and if not, we'll put it in the description of today's video as well. So, that is it. This is the MidFall Boys. Mr. J-Rod, Mr. Lewy, Mr. Yosh. We are signing off.
Peace.
Goodbye.